Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life. Oh, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to It's Wednesday night. And you know the Crusin Classic Next Gen Series is where you want to be. And tonight, going to be taking on Las Vegas Speedway as these guys take these next gen cars. They'll be barreling them down into the corner as fast as they possibly can, right on the edge as they try to hang on to it. As man, this track right here will get these cars up to speed, and they'll be rolling all night long. It's going to be a good one. Thank y'all for joining us. I'm Eddie Smith with VSRN. Glad to have y'all here on the channel. Going to be a great night of racing here in Goat Locker Racing League. Want to thank all of our sponsors, Veterans for Life Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, and of course your title sponsor, Crusin Classics, for all their support and them supporting Jamie and Pat for having this league. This league for veterans, by veterans, and no other place I'd rather be on a Wednesday night. We're going to have a good show, I believe, as we take a look at the track information. Las Vegas Motor Speedway opened in 1996. Capacity of 80,000 people and a 1.5 miler. Not a quad oval. It's an actual tri-oval. So we'll see if folks be jumping down below the apron on that front stretch. You can use it if you want to. Could be a way to make some passes. I'm going to be interested to see how the next-gen car really attacks this track. A little bit tighter than other, Homestead and other tracks like that. So, I think it'll be very similar to Charlotte, where you'll want to be right down at the bottom to make that speed. But we'll see. We'll see what these guys do. They're way better than I am, but we'll find out from some of these drivers what they plan on doing. Take a look at your webcams, man. We got a lot of folks here tonight on the cams, and, man, we definitely appreciate it. We got Jake Ellingson, Patrick Dravitt, Brandon Evans, Ryan Pendleton with a fisheye lens on his setup. That's pretty cool. And Mickey Isaac and Jake Ham. So got a lot of folks here on the broadcast ready to go as qualifying just starting to to end up here. And take a look at this little camera right here. Ryan Pendleton, glad to have him back, and he's got a really cool setup as he's ready to go. And speaking of Ryan, he is going to be your pole sitter as we take a look at the grid here. We'll actually turn this music off and get the right one going here. And Ryan Pendleton with a 31.148, setting the world on fire in that NASCAR Ford Mustang. And then Brandon Evans outside the front row, dominating performance last week. Let's see if he can continue that trend, or somebody like Ryan get in there and do the same. Steve Tucker going to start in the third position with George Jewell, a great qualifying effort in the fourth spot. Fifth is going to be Cody McElwain with Leroy Kaplitz outside of him. Seventh is going to be Jay Cam. Mickey Isaac going to start in eighth. Ninth is going to be James Goshen. Jacob Ellingson rounds out your top 10. 11th, Bobby Germain and Lewis Mitchell in the 12th spot. 13th is going to be John Ross. You're going to see tonight if John can kind of get himself back up into the mix. He's had a rough couple of weeks, but Doug Ellingson going to be in the 14th spot. Cameron Mason going to start in 15th with Ryan Perkins in the 16th spot. 17th, John Anthony, and Tanner Bethea in 18th. 19th is going to be Patrick Dravick, starting all the way in the back. Had a terrible qualifying run. We'll expect to see him up at the front by the end of this thing. And Craig Schroeder going to start in 20th, and that rounds out your field here tonight. Well, man, oh man, I'm ready to get this thing going. I love Las Vegas. I think it is a very, very fun track. It offers a lot of racing. You've got to be good on the throttle. Got to get that, keep that momentum up. But it's all about really hitting that bottom line. You want to drive all the way down to that white line and make good use of that bottom line. So I don't think we'll see anybody really use the top line, but you never know. I mean, the track temp, we'll take a look at that real quick. I mean, 95 degrees should be gripped up pretty good. That's really good for the bottom. So we'll see how it ends up rolling out. Let's take a look at some of the stuff from last week where Brandon Evans, man, I'll tell you, really put a whooping on him on the long run. I mean, a half a second faster every single lap he was than the rest of the field. But Steve Tucker comes home in second, and Jay Cam comes home in third. As we'll take a look at the point standings, Brandon Evans with that win is going to put himself solidly in the top spot with those 3 wins. Everybody there below him just with the 1. So will Brandon be able to get his 4th win, or somebody else jump up there and get their first? Who knows? There's a lot of competitive. And once we get up to these 1.5 milers, it really does. People seem to come out of the woodwork, and it gets really competitive. So looking forward to seeing who can win tonight. But, I mean, it'd be hard so far this season to bet against Brandon Evans, who has just been pretty lights out. Take a look at your race analysis. Fixed setup, 100 laps, 3 total tire sets, so 1 on the car now and 2 in the pits, and that 1 fast repair for these guys if they run into trouble. So hopefully they won't have to use that, but you never know what kind of trouble you can get into. Getting ready to go green as we are getting close and closer to the playoffs here. So a lot of playoff implications in this race. So these guys are going to need to have a good race. But they bring them down to the green flag. Ryan Pendleton. And green flag is out, and Ryan gets a horrible start as Brandon Evans is going to have the lead going into turn 1 here. Definitely sounds better with the car sounds. Apologies for that. But Ryan Pendleton, who started on the pole, did not have a great start at all and finds himself back here in the 3rd position already. Not the worst thing that could happen as he blinks out there. But not really sure. Just wasn't able to get up through the gears like he wanted to. So gonna settle in here as Steve Tucker looking to the outside of Brandon Evans here early. We watched this battle from the in-car cam of Ryan Pendleton. Brandon Evans going to lose the lead as Steve Tucker just drives around on the outside. So I talked about that bottom line sort of being where you want to be, but right now, I mean, we're seeing all kinds of lines here early. Will that continue? I don't know, but Brandon Evans going to lose another spot here as Jake Ham going around to the outside. You know, it makes me nervous after last week, honestly, because if Brandon Evans starts falling back quickly, I start to wonder, and I don't want to give him a big head, but it makes me wonder, what am I doing wrong? That's just how good he is and how good he's been all season long. He's really just been an impressive entry into this series. So that's the kind of how I feel, is now he's going to go back to the inside of Jake Ham, who went way up the track, and you see just guys all over the place. James Goshen side by side with Cody McElwain. They were 3 wide for a moment. It's good to be back on a bigger track, a 1/2 miler. It's good to be able to see these guys race side by side. We've had some really good racing all season long, but I do like calling these tracks where you can run multiple lines. And see these guys up top, it's pretty cool. So far, Steve Tucker out to an early lead, but see Brandon Evans working that bottom side as Jake Ham works the top side to try to hang on to that second spot. He was able, somebody gets in the wall back there, but Jake was able to get out front and continues to run that bottom line. As, man, look at them up here in the top line. And I mean, we're 2 by 2 all, oh my goodness, on board with James Goshen. Almost makes contact with Ryan Pendleton as they kind of have to get out of the gas, and Goshen going the wrong way now. But I'm actually really impressed about how well this top side is holding off. Jake Ham really putting the pressure here, you know, trying to keep the 39 behind him. I just, you know, I want to be able to not give away secrets, but I just can't help myself. That top side will burn the tires up, and I would love for that not to be the case, and I hope that's not the case now. Man, we got maybe 3 wide here as here comes John Ross. I talked about him before the race. He needs a good race here tonight. Been fast all season. The last few races have been rough for him, and he is already up 7 spots from where he started. So John Ross not playing around at the moment. Right now he's in a hornet's nest. It's going to go 3 wide here on James Goshen. 3 wide on lap 8, and they're getting it done. I love to see this right here. Oh, and John Ross going to go down and make contact with, looks like Jacob Ellingson, and Ellingson going to go down to the apron. I'm trying to click him. He falls down the list, and Jacob does the right thing and stays on the bottom, on the apron. I mean, honestly, most folks would have come, you know, gone down the apron, come back up on the track. You see a heavy sigh from Jake, knowing that he's in trouble now. He's going to need a caution to get caught back up. He's going to have a lot of work to do, but contact with John Ross there, and I got to tip my hat to Jacob for not coming back on the track and just killing the field there. So, but he is back to 20th, about 5 seconds off of your leader right now. But back up front, it is a hornet's nest up here. Great racing that this track is putting on. I mean, they're already making contact, bouncing off each other, going 3 wide. So already really, really exciting. So Jake Ham, big mover, along with John Ross, James Goshen, but Patrick Dravick back here in the 9th position is your biggest mover at the moment, as he has made up 10 spots since the drop of the green flag. And Tanner Bethea there in that yellow car, he has been following him. Cody McElwain's falling back a little bit, so his teammate trying to get around him, maybe try to help push that 6 back up towards the front. But I called it before the race. Patrick not going to wait around. He is going to be up there in the mix for sure. You can hear it sort of working that throttle as he's trying to get inside of his teammate. I would imagine Cody going to help facilitate the pass. Oh, no, he's got George Jewell on the outside as that 36 car is getting wound up there, and he's going right around Cody. as well as Patrick. So George Jewell finding something here as we watch Patrick trying to be patient. I think that's what's going on. I think Cody might have heated his tires up a little bit more, but it's really hard to say at the moment what's going on as drivers are pretty much everywhere. But Patrick Drabick up to the 10th spot and trying to move forward. He's going to peek out to the outside, maybe think about jumping up there and following George Jewell as George continues to move forward. But I think Patrick, I tell you what about these Goat Locker boys. When you say teamwork, a lot of times that means, we'll just be on a team and we'll talk to each other in Discord. But in Goat Locker, man, they're the epitome of teamwork. They work together. They block for each other. They, give each other time to get back rolling like Patrick's been doing here with Cody, just allowing Cody to cool his tires off and go back on the attack. And you see it's working out. Instead of them racing side by side, Cody is now up here getting ready to pass George Jewell. So Goat Locker boys, they know how to work together, and they do it the right way where they are working as a unit. And that's why you see them up front all the time. But we are back here talking about Patrick running in the 10th spot, and Brandon Evans has taken over the lead, and Ryan Pendleton coming along with him as Steve Tucker is now kind of falling back a little bit as we wondered why. Man, look at Ryan Pendleton. They make a little bit of contact there off of turn 4. Man, been some great racing for it to be lap 15. We saw Brandon Evans drop back on the start, so I said you got to watch out for him. If you start to see him go into the back, it's kind of like if you see a bomb technician running, you kind of go, you run with it. Say, all right, it must be time to go. We better get out of here. And the same way with Brandon Evans. If he starts falling back, you got to wonder, what am I doing wrong? Do we need to be saving tires a little bit more here? And we're starting to see that kind of play out as Brandon now jumps out front here early. Steve Tucker trying to come back and get back to that 39 machine, though. The nose to tail for the top 3 is Ryan Pendleton not able to get around that Toyota of Steve Tucker and fall back in line. But now here comes Steve Tucker back to the back bumper. And again, we see this on the straightaway. Somebody trying to get to the outside. So I said everybody be right down the bottom as, Steve Tucker gets right on the bottom line. Brandon Evans slid up a little bit, but does a great job of not losing any momentum. But the 24 now all over Brandon Evans. Look how close he's getting to the back bumper of that 39 machine, trying to get a run off the corner, but he has got Ryan Pendleton all over the back bumper. He really can't spend a whole lot of time trying to get around 39. He's getting a great run through the middle off, but just not able to get the run that he needs. Brandon being out front, that clean air makes a big difference, and Steve just not able to get a run. He's going to kind of run a middle line here. So, I'm completely wrong. It looks like this Vegas track has got multiple lanes you can run, and it works okay. Now those that were running that top side have fallen back a little bit. But here we go. Steve Tucker now goes to the inside. Oh, and he's going to get loose as soon as he gets out front. Gets loose the 24. And around goes Brandon Evans again with Ryan Pendleton. So Steve Tucker now going to fall back into the hands of James Goshen, who's going to go up to the outside as Steve tries to keep that from happening. But, as soon as he gets out front, loses the traction of that 24 car. And what a great save, though. Now here we go. Ryan Pendleton now going down to the inside. These boys are not playing around. It's a relatively short race, I would say. Only 100 laps here at Vegas should go by pretty quickly. And you want that track position. And I got to say, man, Ryan Pendleton has always been fast. But it's something about taking a break from iRacing. If you're a good driver, you race a lot and then you take a break for quite a while and you come back. There's just another gear that you seem to find. And Ryan Pendleton, the last few weeks of him being back. I mean, he is definitely, just hitting the ground running. So I don't know what he's found or if it's just been that break. But he has been extremely fast. Now leading up here on lap 23. So glad to have him back representing Goat Locker. And of course, the title sponsor, Crusin Classics. It's always nice to have the title sponsor out front, but not be for long. It does seem like out front maybe there's a slight disadvantage because we've seen this over and over again. The car gets out front, but the second car in line seems to be able to run them back down pretty quickly. Yeah, Brandon Evans not going to let him get away. So I can't tell if the draft is just really good or if the handling goes away. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Battle for the lead yet again. So another lead change. But, we saw it with Steve Tucker. As soon as he got out front, he got extremely, extremely loose. And so I don't know if that's what these guys are dealing with. Just that being out front, the car is just too loose to try to pull away. And that draft and the extra downforce on the front of that car helps the car from behind. I don't know, but the second has been able to kind of get up there and mess with the leader constantly. But I feel like you have to do that. I don't think you can just sit there and say, you know what, I'm tired of racing. Let's just ride behind the leader here, because there might be a certain point where you're not able to pass anymore. That car gets a little bit too tight, or the balance changes over time. That clean air is pretty valuable, especially if the car ever gets tight. Now, if the car's loose, that may be what these guys are dealing with. But we've looked inside. It doesn't seem like the steering wheels are going all over the place. We're on board Pendleton here, and it looks like he's able to be pretty smooth. You see him get a little tight here off the corner. That would be the only thing I'm concerned with as the run goes on, is you can see kind of washed up off the exit. Gets a great run down the straightaway, but it seems like the right front's starting to wear just a little bit. But, honestly, barely moving the steering wheel at all. It looks like Ryan going to kind of just ride back here for a little while. So go back here, Jake Ham, who we saw him run that top line, and still is sort of running that top line. And I just wonder if that's not killing the tires. As we see Jacob Ellingson back here. Oh, he's in the wall. Oh, he's still wrecking. No caution, though, as he's going to bounce it up off the wall. And not really sure what's going on here, but it looks like you see that right front is not moving at all. So a tough start to the race if you're Jacob Ellingson. Right now, that right front is not even moving. You'll see as he crosses right here. No caution. But that right front just sliding. So he's going to come down and get that fast repair, as he had a pretty hard hit on the outside wall. Trying to race somebody, just got a little bit loose. You see the leaders here coming by. Yeah, we talked about JKM running that top side. I just don't know if that's going to be good on the long run. That top side in iRacing is so much fun, but they just have it modeled in such a way that it wears the tires out. It just generates too much heat in the tires. And anytime you exclusively run the top side, it seems to be detrimental for the long run. So, I wonder if Jake will ever maybe try to get down to the bottom, or if he's just committed to this top side. And there are certain tracks like Bristol and Homestead where the top side is the preferred groove, but you'll know that going into the race. Jacob Ellingson down on pit road trying to get that fast repair, get back out there. You see that tire he's not even able to get into his stall. It's so bad. But he will get the fast repair. You see the repairs go out immediately, so he'll have a fresh car, but he will be multiple laps down. Well, here we go. The biggest mover, Patrick Dravitt, already up into the fourth position and looking to take over the third spot as he goes down to the inside of Steve Tucker. And he's going to complete that pass as he was able to make his charge up through the field. Man, Patrick Dravitt up 16 spots from where he started. Man, really, really impressive drive for the Jam Printing and Promotions '07 Chevrolet Camaro. I mean, he is really moving. So right now, your Goat Locker boys running 2-3. Cody McElwain back in 5th, and of course Jacob Ellingson having a tough start to the race. But so far so good, as these guys have been able to dominate the top 5 at the moment. Now, everybody running pretty close on lap times except for the top 2 who have been able to stay in the 31.1s. Patrick Drabbit back there in the 31.2s, and everybody else in the 2s, 3s, some 4s here and there. But Patrick has done a great job, but he's had to drive up through the field, and that takes a little bit extra, but also you have to drive a little bit harder, and you just have a time disadvantage. He's down 3 seconds, which is not terrible. If he has a really good long run here, he can make up a little bit of time. But at this point, I mean, 3 seconds back is not bad. Just maintain till the pit stop and try to improve upon that. Now, fall off so far after 34 laps is only about a second, so you're not going to gain a ton of time. But you never know what's going to happen up front and can capitalize. I mean, right now, honestly, if I'm Patrick, I'll take a 3rd place. It seems pretty good. Somebody that's having trouble right now, though, is John Ross, who is just he drove up to the front, and, we saw some contact between him and Jacob Ellingson as Jacob goes by right there. But John has really been struggling here tonight. That 99 machine not handling well. He's already come down pit road just now. So I don't know if that was a scheduled stop, but he did take the fast repair, so that means he had some sort of damage, and I'm not really sure. I don't see anybody else coming down pit road. Look how close he gets to the wall. But John Ross not having a great race so far. Leroy Koblenz, you're one of your winner at Talladega. He's back here in 12th, and he is battling here with Mickey Isaac. Mickey Isaac kind of slid back in this race, but is holding steady, trying to maybe get back up there into that top 10. He's running 11th at the moment. As we watch him and Leroy try to battle this out here. Look at that American flag background like that, for sure. Looks like he's able to hold on to it for the moment. As here's the battle between James Goshen and Tanner Bethea. Tanner Bethea, who had a really bad race the last couple weeks or last couple races. Talladega just a disaster for him, and then last week is pretty much the same. Exited early, but right now, the second biggest mover of the night is Tanner Bethea from 18th to 6th, though. Really impressive drive through the field, and it does seem like guys are able to make moves, and if you take care of your stuff, you're able to get up through the traffic pretty easily. So he is not quite as fast as the drivers in front of him, but right in front of that little battles. Ooh, somebody's getting loose there. It looks like, I don't know who that is. Oh, Ryan. Oh, who the hell is that? Oh, that's Lewis Mitchell. That 54 got a real loose in front of the leaders. But here comes Cody McElwain. Little resurgent. Kind of fell back, and Patrick got around him. And here at the end of this run, now he's running down Patrick Drabick as well. I mean, Cody last lap ran the exact same time as the leader, Brandon Evans. So Cody, oh my goodness, as Patrick Drabick gets really loose there, and that's going to open the door for Cody McElwain to take over the second spot, as Patrick almost had a disaster. Man, look how close Steve Tucker gets to the back bumper of the 6 going down into turn 1, but almost disaster for Patrick, as he's going to have to kind of nurse that right rear for a while as he goes down and try to give Patrick that draft to help him get around that 24 car. Oh, as Patrick pushes up on exit, almost gets to the left rear of Steve Tucker, who now takes over the 4th spot. So Patrick drove all the way up to 3rd, and here the last 5 to 10 laps has started to fade just a little bit as he falls back to the 5th spot. And you see these guys able to drive different locations and, you know, drive down to the bottom, drive up to the middle. Some guys even get up pretty high. You know, the higher you get seems to not be super ideal. You'll see, you know, where the dark area is on the track, these guys have been able to run just fine. You get up to the wall, you see how it's lighter up there. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of grip that you can keep that momentum up. But if you stay in that dark area, you know, in the middle of the track, it seems to be pretty fast. But this battle sort of settling down here as we move ever so closer to the halfway point. Brandon Evans still out front by 2 seconds as he continues to pull away from Ryan Pendleton, and expecting to see pit stops soon. Obviously, it's going to be a one-stop race, assuming that you can do, you know, another 5 laps on fuel. That should be enough for a one-stopper. But we'll see who comes down pit road. If you're Brandon Evans, you have no interest in coming down pit road. Ooh, as he gets a little bit loose there. But you really have no interest in coming down pit road as you continue to pull away on older tires. You do not want to give that advantage up by coming down and pitting. So just get as much as you can get if you're pulling away out front, and not really there's just no benefit for him to come down early. It only puts him in a bad spot if a caution comes out. Nobody's running him down. It's really, he has no need to come down pit road before anybody else. And you can see the bumps as his little, I don't know if he has a full motion sim or what, but you can see he went down in the corner of the bumps. That's something that we haven't really talked about, but this track is, you know, a little worn out and very, very bumpy. 2, 3, and 4 not so bad, but watch him as he goes down into turn 1 and 2, especially as he hit the apron here. You can see how violent that is. I mean, look at that motion sim just moving on him as he hits those bumps into turn 1. They can definitely throw you off and make you a little bit nervous. Yeah, as he continues to pull away, I mean, he's really just watching that relative, and once he sees Ryan Pendleton, Cody McElwain, one of the top 5 go down pit road, then he can start thinking about it, but there would just be no point in him coming down pit road first. So he's just watching the relative, watching what's going on, but now he's going to see something happen as here comes Patrick Dravitt. The 07 going to give up that 5th position, come down pit road for 4 tires and fuel. They definitely don't want to slide us. Oh, man, he's going to slide through his pit stall as soon as I say it. And he is trying to get that thing in his pit stop, and you can see on his face just, you can see him just, oh, my, so frustrating. Those tires hot and slippery, slides through that concrete stall, and you can see he's kind of cockeyed, had to get that thing set up. So he's going to lose a ton of time, but caution is out. Caution is out on the speedway. As I don't know what for. Oh, Doug Ellingson has got massive damage. So caution comes out, and it goes from, you know, I don't know if it's bad. I don't know. We'll have to see how it works out for Patrick. As, man, look at the 58. It's all tore up. But, yeah, I don't know if it's bad for him necessarily, as he does have, you know, fresh tires. Didn't put a lap on him just yet, so he might be able to get the wave around, but he will have to go towards the back, which will be pretty frustrating. And that was the danger of coming down pit road a little bit earlier. So we'll go back and see maybe what happened. Take a look here on the replay, what happened to Doug Ellingson. Kind of running down like Tanner Bethea here, go down into 3 and 4. I can't tell. I think Doug may have a little bit fresher tires here. And he's going to go to the inside. Oh, Tanner Bethea gets loose up off the corner. And, oh, my goodness, hard contact to the outside wall. That Doug goes around again. So it all started with the one. Doug was just an innocent bystander. And you see the pace car pulling out. And, man, big, big damage to that 58 machine. So Tanner Bethea, Doug Ellingson get together, and it looks like Doug has already used his fast repair, so that will be it. Everybody else has come down pit road while we were watching that replay. Brandon Evans going to hold on to that top spot, and Patrick Drabick going to have to take the wave around as he should be right up behind the pace car. So he's going to have fresh tires, but going to have to kind of repeat what he did earlier. So basically what Patrick did, I mean, he won't have as many spots. I mean, he started in the 19th position, but he'll start up a little bit closer in 13th. But he's going to have to drive through the field again. So he's already done it once. We know he can do it, so he's not out of it, that's for sure, but probably going to need a caution to get up there and try to win this thing. But there are still a good day to have, or to be had, for this 07 machine. But Brandon Evans out front. And I'll tell you what, let's see if we got anybody in the Discord. We'll talk to Patrick. I don't know if we've talked to him in a while. He may not want to talk, but we'll get him in here anyway, and maybe he'll be okay to talk to us real quick. Patrick Drabick, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Eddie?
Well, man, we were watching you just blaze up through the field, going from, I think it was 19th or 18th, all the way up to 3rd, just rolling. That Jam Printing Promotions 07 Camaro looks like it is fast. And guess what? You got to do it all over again. You go down pit road, slide through your stall, and you're going to have to take the wave around. Luckily, you didn't run any laps on those tires, so you're going to have equal tires. But talk a little bit about that car, man. How's it driving? Seemed like you got a piece on you tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's driving really, really well. Strategy kind of bit me there. Qualifying was really bad, put me in the back. But yeah, it's a fast 07 Jam Printing and Promotions car. It gets a little loose as we get down through the run, but was having an absolute blast coming up through the field, and I had such fun, I'm going to do it twice.
It was so nice, you're going to do it twice.
Yes, sir.
Well, talk a little bit more about the looseness. We've seen a couple guys get out front and completely lose the car, and you got a little bit loose off of turn 4 at one point. What do you think that is? Is it just running hard? Is it just the setup? Is it the track? What do you think is causing that loose feeling?
I think it's just running hard. I mean, there's a lot of on-throttle time here at Las Vegas, and you're really, really eating into that right rear, and it's heating it up quite a bit. And as that run continues to go on, I mean, that right rear is just getting hotter and hotter, and it gets looser and looser, which can be a lot of fun. I had a big slide there a little bit, had to cool the tire back down and get back going again. But I just think it's Las Vegas and all the on-throttle time that you have.
Yeah, well, hey, look, I'm going to call you Patrick the Show Drabick tonight, so we'll see if you can get back up to the front and get up there and battle for the lead. But, man, congratulations so far on a great run. I know you're kind of behind the 8 ball now, but looking forward to see what you do as you drive back through here, so good luck.
All right, man. Thanks, Eddie.
There you have it. I mean, he's all smiles. That's my favorite thing about Patrick. Yeah, I mean, it gets frustrating. You get frustrating dealing with, having stuff go wrong. But, it's always important to have fun, man. Have a smile on your face. And, hey, you did it once. You can do it again. So, getting ready to go green here. Brandon Evans, Ryan Pendleton is your front two here as they get ready to go green. Just over halfway, going to do it all over again. And we'll be racing to the finish as Brandon Evans with a fantastic start here, as Ryan Pendleton has not been great on restart. So not really sure what's going on with that, but a sequential shifter, it can't be missing shifts or having problems shifting. So I just don't know if maybe just, I don't know, just some lag time between his brain and right foot maybe. I don't know. That's usually my problem. So you see J. Cam up at the top side. Boy, he is not wasting any time. It kind of bit him in the rear end earlier, but Hey, he didn't waste no time. He's jumping right back up there to try to take advantage of it. Who am I to tell Jake Ham how to race? I don't know. Same thing with Patrick. You want to get up there and have fun. You can see as you get up there, don't just quite have the grip. You do get the run off the corner, but you don't have the grip that you need through the middle of the corner. You see, oh my goodness, gonna stick it in there. And Ryan kind of gives him a break there. That was close, but he's gonna take over that spot. Now up to 4th. I know I criticize on the broadcast a lot, and I just want to say I'm just doing the best I can to spit out what I think's going on. My opinions don't mean hill beans out here. I'm not on the track, but I just call them like I see them. Great battle here as Cody McElwain takes over the 2nd spot. Cody not been as great as Steve Tucker, maybe Jake Ham firing off, but there on that long run, he was exceptionally fast. And Ryan Pendleton really struggling here as he is falling back through the field. Restarts just seem to be really terrible for that 23 machine. I'm not really sure what's going on. He's got plenty of speed, was able to keep up with Brandon Evans for quite a while. But, yeah, I mean, here on this restart, he was right there up front, and now he's back in 6th. See that Tanner Bethea there with that, got the faster pair. He's back in it. So it is going to get wild up front for sure. And look at him fanning out all over the place. Brandon Evans, though, out to a half a second lead. See the distance he's already put on these guys. And it's sort of been that way all season long. Brandon Evans. You know, we talked a little bit about this last week when he kind of dominated. As we see Steve Tucker go to the outside of Cody McElwain, try to take that 2nd spot in that Harpoon Designs 24 machine. But we talked to Brandon. Honestly, it's just a weird thing because he is so good at these next-gen cars. And he's like alien fast. And then you put him in, you know, a truck or an Xfinity car maybe, and he seems to, you know, he's definitely fast, but not near as fast. It just seems like, and I'm really kind of dancing around here because I know Brandon listens to the broadcast. So Brandon, I'm not hating on you. I'm just saying what it is, where you're definitely fast enough to win races. But in the next gen, it's another level. He has just a head and shoulders above everybody else in this car. I don't know if it's experience or just this car kind of working in his favor, but man, already 0.7 of a second lead. He has dominated so far. As we take a look here, led 44 out of 59 laps, and continues that trend of dominating this Wednesday night series. But all the fun's back here. My goodness. On board, patch of traffic as you see the Craig Schroeder gets a little bit loose, and oh my goodness, I think James Goshen may have made a little bit of contact there with Patrick. I'm not sure, as Patrick went up to try to go to the outside. But you can see it's sort of roadblocks going on up here. Guys just trying to be patient, but you can see how good the runs are. The next gen car punches a big hole in the air. It's got the most downforce out of, I think, any car that NASCAR's ever had. And so that punches a big a hole in the air, and you have massive drafts. And look, I mean, the 56 gets a massive run off the top side and is able to get right back next to the 07 car. So guys are really having to try all kinds of stuff to make these passes. And it seems like once you pass somebody, if you have to lift, you're getting passed. So we are racing to the finish here, and obviously looks like cautions may be coming. Man, these guys are racing hard, but they don't need to make another stop under green. So these guys racing side by side as Brandon Evans now out to a 1.3 second lead over Steve Tucker. These guys playing the long game, trying to save those tires and those cars. But Brandon was faster on the long run. It's going to be tough. I think the battle might just be for second place at this point. Now here comes Patrick Drabick down to the inside of Tanner Bethea. Ooh, almost 3 wide here as Patrick kind of bounces around off the apron. Almost makes contact with the one car. The one's going to get a nice run down the straightaway here along with Patrick. Gets right to the back bumper of the 23. That's some great racing right here, let me tell you. Just zoom it out a little bit so you can see what's going on. As Tanner Bethea gets a great run on the high side, and he's going to power by that 23. Not going to be able to clear him into 3 and 4, but he might just go around on the outside. He is. Keeps the foot in it, and he's going to go around. Cody McElwain, he's got to run here on to Jake Ham. Tanner now thinks about getting up on the high side, using that to his advantage. Worked pretty good there. And I think he's doing the right thing, which is use it to make passes and then get back down to the bottom and save those tires if you can. But if you need to make a pass, it seems like that top side working pretty good. Mickey Isaac up here trying it now. Tanner now gets to the inside of the number 3 of Jake Ham. Jake's going to have the run off the corner. Jake's been running that high line all night long, so he definitely knows how to make it work and try to use it as a defense here. The one looks really, really fast, though, at the moment. See how long it lasts. Is he pushing that car too hard? We haven't really seen what Tanner can do as he's been, involved in so much trouble over the last few races. But, even with that contact that brought out the caution with Doug Ellingson, he is now up to the 3rd spot. So currently, out of the whole race, he is the biggest mover. That 18th to 3rd. You could throw a blanket over most of the lead lap cars. I mean, right now, 1st to 12th is only 3 seconds apart. And honestly, if you go from 2nd to Steve Tucker back to 12th, I mean, it's only 2 seconds between all those drivers. So, I mean, if we look back from the rear end of Steve Tucker, I mean, look how many drivers are back there. It's just almost like it's a draft, kind of pulling everybody along. The last few laps, Steve Tucker has been a little bit faster than Brandon Evans, starting to run him down here. Brandon Evans had a pretty bad lap last time by, so I don't know if he got loose. Gained a good amount of time yet again here on Brandon Evans. Now down in the last, that's 6/10 in the last couple laps. Brandon is now dropped off the pace by about 3/10 as Steve Tucker gets a little wide there. Tanner Bethea going to look down to the inside. Going to drive it down into the corner. And I can't imagine how frustrated Steve Tucker is at the moment. Like, hey, man, we were catching Brandon, and now you're passing me and messing it all up. And Tanner Bethea going to take over the 2nd spot. Just drives down in there and take it. They lost about a 10th to Brandon Evans. Time going to run out, though. They better figure it out. Somebody better get moving forward here if they're going to run him down. They were catching him. That pass really kind of slowed up their progress. Interval back up to 7/10. You can just see how big a difference that made just by Tanner making that pass. And now Brandon Evans back into the 5s, where Tanner Bethea is now running in the 8s. So a lot of guys just riding in line at the moment. Everybody good on fuel, just trying to save a little bit of tires. We just got 25 laps to go. It looks like Patrick Rabbit got a little bit loose there. J-Cam keeping that car moving on the outside, going around Cody McElwain. That is for the 4th position. These 25 laps, they're going to fly by here. Now, Cody going to get a run on the outside of J-Cam. Going to try to go around him on the outside and make that work. Not quite able to get there. So they were catching Brendan Evans, but after Tanner goes by Steve Tucker, they have not been able to keep that going, as now they are, oh man, as Tanner gets super loose off of turn 4, and now they're going to go 3 wide here down into turn 1. Tanner Bethea trying to hang on to it as he almost gets loose and wrecks it off of 4, going to slide up in front of J-Cam. J-Cam going to have to go down to the bottom, and so Tanner, he goes from 2nd likely all the way back to 6th spot in just a half a lap. He's fighting there on the outside of Ryan Pendleton. J-Cam now way up the track trying to get a run here. Makes something happen. Doesn't get a huge run, as Patrick Rabbit almost gets to the inside of him. Jake going to come down the track and block the 07. The 07 going to have to jump out of line there. Oh, he gets super loose, and so does Ryan Pendleton. Now we're 3 wide. We still got 20 laps to go, boys. Down into the corner. Ryan Pendleton going to slide way up the track, entering there on the bottom, and J-Cam going to take over that 4th spot. Tanner Bethea going to fall back into 5th. And Brandon Evans now back. I mean, the gap was at 4/10 when Tanner Bethea passed Steve Tucker, and now it's back up to 1.7 seconds as Steve trying to run down that 39 machine. But right now, Brandon Evans putting down some really good lap times, about a 10th faster than this whole group right here. Pendleton gets to the inside of Tanner, gets him a little bit loose. You saw him kind of wiggle there. Goes way up the track here for the entry of turn 1. Going to fight hard for this 4th position. Gets right down on the door of the 23, trying to pull him back with that side draft. Actually does a really good job there. So Ryan going to slide up a little bit, and Tanner takes evasive action, and it's going to cost him. I don't think they made any contact. I think it was just a reaction by Tanner, and he's going to lose a lot of time. Ryan takes over that top 5 spot. Right up in front of him, it is now a battle for 2nd as Brandon continues to pull away. About 0.2 faster every lap. Now that interval is 2.2 seconds over Steve Tucker, who has got a lot to think about back here with Cody McElwain and J-Cam. what Brandon Evans does not want to see is a caution. Hey, I mean, he's been really good on restarts, but you never know what can go wrong. I mean, your pit crew could have a really bad pit stop that could lose you the lead. Definitely does not want to see a caution at this point with just about 15 laps to go. Tanner Bethea now back to the 8th position, was second not too long ago. You see how quickly here in the next gen things can go wrong, as he was trying to run down the leader and now is all the way back to 8th spot, trying to fight Craig Schroeder for the 7th position. Gets a run here, but he is losing that front little pack for sure, as they've got about 35 laps on these tires now. J-Cam definitely has improved. He fell back to about 8th on that first run, but here this second run he has been much, much better, as he is in the 4th spot. He could definitely has a shot to get up here and get second. Trying to work this top side. Able to get a run here. He's going to jump down to the bottom, as Steve Tucker has a little bit of an issue. So now Steve Tucker down on the bottom. J-Cam under Cody McElwain. Is McElwain way up the track. Tucker able to keep it going. So now it's a battle between the 3 and the 6. And Jake gonna slide up in front of the 6. And boy, look how close they are. And J-Cam maybe with a little bit of contact gets a little bit loose, but look, I mean, I think Cody McElwain might have shoved him out there, because he had a massive run down the straightaway, even with that little bit of looseness. And he's able to drive right by Steve Tucker. And now it's a battle between Cody McElwain and Steve Tucker as they battle for the 3rd spot, as Ryan Pendleton is there waiting in the wings for something to happen. I mean, the battle for second continues. I think Jake has got a good position here, but I think it's going to be tough, as the draft is just showing to be very, very strong, enough that it's really hard to get away. Brandon Evans lead out to a 3.3 second lead over Jake Cam, but these guys continue to battle, and that's only helping him drive away. I mean, we saw Steve get to about 3/10 away from Brandon, and then Tanner, they battle side by side, and that was pretty much it. Once that happened, they broke the draft. It was Brandon Evans was just gone. He's lapping about 2/10 faster than these guys, so without a caution, Brandon Evans is going to be your winner. But man, look at this battle that we're watching here from 2nd back to 5th. Ten laps to go. Brandon Evans, your leader. J-Cam in 2nd. Steve Tucker, Cody McElwain in 3rd and 4th, depending on the corner. Ryan Pendleton hanging out back there in the 5th spot. Patrick Dravick about a second back in that 6th position. Steve Tucker almost pushes Cody McElwain down into the corner. Cody, though, not phased at all, because now here comes Ryan Pendleton with a big run down the back straightaway. And it just looks like what Patrick was talking about, that on throttle time. You know, if you ever have to lift or have to check up for somebody in the runs these cars are getting, you quickly fall into the clutches of the guy behind you. But it seems like you pretty much just have to keep your foot in it the whole time. As, man, Brian Pendleton now all over the back bumper of Steve Tucker, as Tucker's starting to fade a little bit towards the end of this thing. Cody McElwain now going to try to run down J-Cam now that he's kind of free, as Steve Tucker and Ryan Pendleton been battling. He has a nice little gap out his rear bumper for a moment. He can get up there and try to battle with J-Cam, though. Woo, got a little close there. Is Ryan Pendleton now going back to the inside of Steve Tucker. Steve just hadn't had a break. I can tell you, he has been fighting for every spot. Last time by, all four of these drivers here in the 31-2s. They are running very similar lap times. J-Cam a little bit faster than Cody was that last lap, and it's down to crunch time. Cody McElwain now, this time the fastest car on the track. So Cody found a little bit of something there with 5 to go. Gonna try to get up there and take over second place if he can. Jake trying to break the draft down, just showing how strong that draft is. It's worth trying to break it. Now Cody has some breathing room out the back of his machine, but not much. He's got to make the pass. If he doesn't, Steve Tucker and Ryan Pendleton will be right on him pretty quick. So he's got to kind of play it right, kind of like Talladega Daytona, where you have to make your move on the last lap. I think Cody might have to do something similar, though, as J-Cam gets out of shape here. Now here we go. Battle for second place. Cody going to go to the outside. Can he make it stick? Does not stick through the middle, but J-Cam, I think, really drove it hard through the middle of the corner, and that's going to open the bottom, but J-Cam comes down. They make contact. They go down through the grass on the front stretch. No caution yet. As they going through the grass, J-Cam throwing rooster tails, and Cody McElwain going to come out about 10th place, and he is really slow. So a mistake there by J-Cam going to end up costing both of them. As now the battle for second is between Steve Tucker and Ryan Pendleton. No caution as they were both able to keep it going. So here we go, battle between second with just 2 laps to go. Ryan Pendleton, Steve Tucker, Patrick Drabick is about 2.3 seconds back from this battle. But man, it's disappointing if you're J-Cam or Cody McElwain. I mean, really, Cody didn't do anything wrong there. Had the perfect crossover. J-Cam just gets a little bit loose off the corner and just tail slaps the 6. And they both go driving through the grass, but still great save. White flag is out, though, for Brandon Evans. Got some lap traffic out in front of him, but he's got a 4.4 second lead. He can afford just to kind of ride and get there. Goes down into 3 and 4, and he is going to win again. 4th win on the season. Brandon Evans takes the checkered flag in dominating fashion yet again, leading 85 out of 100 laps. And he takes the checkered flag for win number 4 here at Las Vegas. And Steve Tucker able to hold on and keep Ryan Pendleton at bay. He comes home in 2nd, and Ryan Pendleton in 3rd. Patrick Drabick able to get back to the 4th spot. J-Cam comes home in 5th. But Brandon Evans, winner yet again in dominating fashion. And I just don't know. I haven't seen anybody be able to keep up with Brandon here. I mean, he just seems like he's picking up more and more speed as the weeks go on. Just so much momentum behind that 39 machine. And he does it again here tonight. Well, alrighty. Well, it is time for some some interviews. We want to talk to these drivers, see what they thought about the race, and get their perspective. It seemed like it was some pretty good racing out there, but we'll have to talk to these guys and see what they thought. As waiting on everybody to get in here so we can talk to them. And we'll start with our third place finisher in a moment. Get Ryan Pendleton in here and talk to him, see what he thought about this race. All right, there he is. I found him. All right, we'll get him up into the booth. Third place finisher, Ryan Pendleton. Ryan, you got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, Eddie?
Well, not too much, man. Loving the fisheye lens from your perspective. Pretty cool looking get up, but man, hard fought victory. Seemed like it was a really fun race out there, honestly. Battling all night long. It seemed like you couldn't rest and take a break, but you were up there in the mix. Restarts, though, didn't seem to work out in your favor. I wanted to ask you a little bit about that, maybe get some inside scoop. What was going on those restarts that you really were struggling there to get that 23 machine going?
Yeah, so qualified on the pole, which I didn't think was going to happen, and I didn't want to be up there. Been having some issues saving tires, so I was okay with falling back on both those restarts. That was kind of the plan, because talking to my teammate, Cody and Pat, they saved quite a bit more tire than I did that first run. So, but what ended up happening, I just got into too many, multiple lap battles, so it kind of negated what I was trying to do there.
Well, that's good to hear that it was intentional. Yeah, I mean, you're up there battling, and it just seemed like you couldn't get away if you got in sort of a box of multiple drivers. That draft seemed pretty strong, and it seemed like the car, oddly, sometimes it's nice when it's not just a plow and dump truck. Like most of the fixed setups are. So it seemed like it was fun to drive, but it kind of put y'all in a big box where, it's sort of like a Talladega Daytona where, you go down the corner, you got a lot of on throttle time. And if you made a mistake, had to lift for anybody, you had somebody right on your tail quickly. Is that kind of what you felt like was going on tonight?
Yeah, for sure. It provided the opportunity where there was two grooves, once we got 5-10 laps in, the tires would kind of balance out, and you could run that second groove and make it really difficult for someone to get around you, even if they were a little bit quicker. So guys did a good job with that. Unfortunately, what happened with Cody there at the end and even in the beginning, I think he had a really fast car. He might have been the only one that had a shot at that. But yeah, it made for good racing for sure. I'm sure for watching the broadcast, it was good. Frustrating here in the car, just because whenever you feel faster than somebody and can't get around them, it's just tough. But it was fun. It was a good race, fun race.
Well, you were off for a while. I think you were actually deployed. I don't want to tell your business on a broadcast, so you can tell us what you want to tell us. But you had a break, and you hadn't been racing in a while. But when you come back, though, is there something to taking a break from iRacing, especially when you race a bunch and come back and there's just like a renewed amount of, hey, I already have the skills, and just taking a break, come back, and man, you just seem to come out of the gate, really fast. Is that something, do you feel like that's what it was, just being off for that long and you come back just kind of refreshed?
Well, yeah, I appreciate it. I don't know how quick I am. I lucked into this spot tonight, but yeah, no, definitely it puts it in perspective. You just come back to enjoy it. When you miss something, you come back, you're happy, grateful to be able to do it. Maybe the tire model switched. I don't know. Maybe I'm making excuses. I've struggled with tire wear on long runs, but other than that, yeah, I think you're right. Just being refreshed, coming out here, being with my teammates, having fun, and the rest of the league has been nice. And yeah, fresh mind, not frustrated about any old races, I guess. So not quite.
There you go. Well, a great race out of you tonight, and come home in third place. It's always good to finish on the podium with the Crusin Classics Ford Mustang when you're in the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series. So congratulations on that, man. Who you got to thank? Any sponsors, shout outs?
Yeah, everyone that supports Goat Locker, everyone who races in the league, obviously all my teammates, Crusin Classics on the car, Veterans for Life Foundation, Fallen Lineman Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, and hopefully a bunch more as they come in and we keep growing the league. So, and obviously you for broadcasting. It's awesome to go back and watch. Appreciate it, bud.
Right. Well, there you have it. Third place finisher Ryan Pendleton with a great night out of him. Third place. As we'll jump in here and talk to Steve Tucker, and we seem like we're always talking to Steve Tucker, the middle driver in these interviews. Second place has become sort of a home for you, Steve. But man, a fast Harpoon Designs 24 machine. There was a moment there where that Toyota was right close to that 39 machine. Then he had to battle with Tanner Bethea and then just kind of lost all contact there. Talk a little bit about your night. How's that car? Was it handling? And maybe what did you need to keep up with that 39 machine?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, the back end. This track is just it like the back end kind of kicks out on the long run. It's more right rear tire dependent versus right front tire. So it's not so much about easing up on your entry. It's more about getting a smooth exit and not throttling down too hard. So it's and I feel like I kind of did well on that, but it's just a tough track. It's daytime, it's really hot, but yeah, right there with Tanner. I mean, Tanner obviously wasn't saving much. Got past me. I think I was maybe 6/10 back of Brandon making headway, and he passed me, and then he kind of just slowed me down because he thought he could, get to the front or do whatever, but just blew his rubber off, and that's all she wrote. So I mean, at the end there, kind of. Was gifted P2. Probably had a top 3 car on speed, but yeah, tire wise, it kind of got away from me there. But and then yeah, I mean those two, I forget who it is now, Jake and maybe I don't know who was it, Jake and
Cody.
Cody, yeah, a couple guys got together and no caution luckily and gave us P2. So hey, I'll take it. It's 5th straight podium finish. Lately, it seems like we're always the bridesmaid, not the bride, but. It's all good. Brandon Evans is in a whole nother league of his own, so we're gonna get there.
Well, I mean, regardless of how many second places and stuff that I know you want to get those wins, but once the playoffs start, everything kind of resets, and you've got just one race per round. So while Brandon Evans definitely has shown to be the fastest car almost every week, you never know what can happen in these rounds that can put you out of it really quickly. So I mean, being up front, racing up front, you're due for wins for sure, and you've been really fast, and you never know what's going to happen in these playoffs. So I know it gets frustrating, but man, you've got the speed. You're definitely a championship contender. And when you get down to these wacky playoffs that we got here, I mean, I definitely think you're a threat for the championship. So, but a good race. It just seemed like with that loose car, we've seen some guys get out front and get in front of these little packs, and then the car just gets even looser. It just seemed like it was really hard to pull away and break that draft. Is that kind of what you saw?
Yeah, it's the track is just so draft dependent, right? It's when you're with 1 or 2 cars, you're able to kind of stick into that zone, right? If you're by yourself, I mean, if you have the raw speed, you can break away. But yeah, the draft is just so key. I mean, luckily next week, New Hampshire, my home track, I'm going to try and bring something for these boys tomorrow, next Wednesday. But that track, Indianapolis, the race after, not so much. I mean, India, I guess, is draft dependent, but just on the straight. So it's going to be interesting, man. I'll tell you what. Next week, though, it's going to be a lot of fun. New Hampshire's a fun time.
All right. Well, Steve Tucker comes home in second, and Steve, as always, who you got to thank? Any sponsors, shout outs?
Yeah, I mean, again, just always the best looking car on track. Today we're going back to the OG paint scheme, the purple and blue. So shout out to harpoondesign.com and go check them out. Find us on just all .com, the social media, X, I think they call it now, and all that. So yeah, come out, fill out a form, get a paint for yourself, and look just as good as me.
There you go. Heck yeah. Well, if I was racing, I'd be trying to get me a Harpoon Design car as well. So congratulations to Steve Tucker, second place finish here tonight. But the man of the hour, 2 in a row, Brandon Evans, takes home the victory tonight in dominant fashion yet again on the long run. Man, you and this car are just y'all like one. You've merged with the next gen. I think we're gonna start calling you Brandon Next Gen Evans. Is you've got another gear. You're out there running with 6 gears out there. Tell me, you know, it seemed like early on you were kind of saving, taking care of your stuff, but the draft was really, really strong. Once you were able to break the draft and you were able to immediately start pulling away, by quite a bit. Did you notice that draft being that strong? Is it a little bit different here at Vegas based on the setup? Because we don't normally see that everywhere, but here it seemed like there was just a huge draft that you could get on the straightaways that was kind of keeping everybody in a box. Was it the setup? What do you think was causing that?
Yeah, so the car is naturally free enough, and the way the corners are banked, you can arc down into the corner pretty hard, get on the gas and stay on it, and use the draft to just pull back on the straightaway. Um, yeah, early in the run, I knew that my goal was to just ride behind Ryan and see how that was going to go. And then Steve made a charge, and we were just kind of all dipping and darting and swapping positions. I appreciate them guys running me clean and running each other clean. So that was cool. But yeah, I knew the draft advantage. I didn't want to smoke my tires in testing and practice and stuff. I knew that the tire heat, and especially in the right rear, was going to be a thing. So the only other way to make up time is to try to use the draft until tires start to wear. So that was kind of my strategy going into it.
Yeah, and it seemed like just the aero effect that the cars would have. I mean, when you were out there by yourself, it seemed like it drove really well. But as soon as you get out front, with somebody right behind you, it seemed like it just really, really got the car super loose. It almost seemed beneficial to kind of be running behind somebody as you were constantly able to
Yeah,
get those runs, and it just gave you that extra little bit of downforce.
it
But
it
you know,
does because you can use the air of the car in front of you to create more side force on the right side of the car. So I was okay running as long as I had enough room on the bottom. I didn't mind running behind somebody because it just saves the right rear tire, and then you use the draft, right?
yeah.
Um, so
Well, and when that caution came out and y'all went back green, and you pulled away a little bit as they were battling, but they were able to catch back up with you. And it seemed like though I couldn't tell, were you having trouble or were you just
n-
taking
no, it was
care
by
of the?
design.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought maybe it looked like you were just immediately started dropping off about 3 tenths, and they caught up to you, and I think your plan worked out perfectly as Tanner really drove hard, and once they got up to you, Tanner just couldn't help himself and tried to go around Steve, and they battled for a little bit, and then after that, that was it. You pulled away, and they never saw you again. So I mean, just interesting to see. Kind of almost baiting them into running their stuff a little bit harder. Is that what the plan, or was you just
Yeah.
trying to save your stuff?
Yeah, I ran. I knew based on the last run, the first run in the race, 30.7s, 30.8s was a good, comfortable time for me based on how my tires were for the race and how I felt. Um, so yeah, I used that by design, run that lap time. As soon as they started to catch me, I waited until they kind of got singled out, and then I showed my hand. I ran in like a 30.5 something, just to kind of show like, are you sure? So yeah, I that's what you got to do in this car. You got to be strategic, and there's multiple ways to do it. It doesn't just come down to pit strategy or what kind of steering offset you use. There's other things too. So that was one of my cards I played for sure.
But my man's out here playing 4D chess with these guys, and he comes home with another dominating victory. I mean, just incredible race last week at Richmond, and again tonight, just head and shoulders above everybody else. So, man, congratulations on your fourth win of the season, and tell me who you got to thank. Any sponsor shout outs?
Yeah, I'll thank McConey Setup Shop, the official NASCAR setup shop. So I appreciate them, and I tell them every week that I'm able to get interviewed. Go look at their AFix tutorials and just kind of get a baseline of understanding of some of these tracks. It helps me. Those are some of the same settings that I use. So I encourage that. Thank you, Gary Ramen Project and CrossFit Catawba Valley, and my family for supporting, and also Goat Locker for putting this on. It's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Also, check out McConey Entertainment over on Twitch. They
Oh
do
yeah,
some really cool stuff. Fast Fridays, they do some wacky stuff, and they
yeah,
also broadcast the C Fix series on Monday night, the Strength of Field race. So
oh
go
yeah.
check that out as well. But man, congratulations again, Brandon, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you next week.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Eddie.
Brandon Evans takes home the victory here tonight. And yeah, just another great win by him. Let's take a look at your results. Brandon Evans, Steve Tucker, Ryan Pendleton, Patrick Rabbit able to fight his way back up there after that slide through the pit stall, getting kind of stuck by that caution. Still comes home in the P4 finish. Jake Cam with that contact with Cody McElwain comes home in 5th. James Goshen comes home in 6th. Tanner Bethea comes home in 7th. Leroy Kablitz in 8th. Greg Schroeder in the 9th position. Cameron Mason rounds out your top 10. 11th is going to be Mickey Isaac. Cody McElwain, disappointed for sure. He's up there running for 2nd place. Makes contact after Jake Cam gets loose off the corner. And he is going to come home in the 12th position. But, you know, I mean, that's racing, man. Those guys are racing hard, and it's going to happen from time to time. John Ross is going to come home in 13th, 1 lap down. George Jewell in the 14th position. Bobby Germain in 15th. John Anthony in 16th. Lewis Mitchell in 17th. Ryan Perkins in 18th. Jacob Ellingson, just a disastrous night for him. Definitely not what he expects out of himself. And just you could see on his face he was frustrated after that contact with the wall that ended his night. And Doug Ellingson rounds out the top 20. So, well, all right, guys. Another great race. And you look right here, we're at Vegas. And just one more race to set the playoffs. And, man, it is going to be a crazy playoffs. As you see, just one race per round. You do not have a bad race, an ability to have a bad race. 12 drivers will go into the playoffs, and then right after that, we'll drop 4 immediately. So the 4 worst drivers in that round will be out of the playoffs. And then Texas, the next 4 drivers will be removed from the playoffs. So you have to have 3 perfect races if you're going to win the championship. It is going to be tough. When people talk about the championship 4 being tough, to come down to 1 race. Well, if you had 1 race per round, that is big. And so whoever wins the championship is definitely going to earn it. It's not going to be luck. It's going to take a lot of skill and just putting yourself in the right places. Don't get into any problems. And at the end of the day, I said there's not going to be any luck, but in racing, sometimes luck does play a factor. So you're going to need all of it if you're going to win the championship. So going to be a fun little playoff as we got just 4 races left in this series. It's been a great one. Thank you to our sponsors yet again. As always, Veteran for Life Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, and of course your title sponsor for this series, Crusin Classics. I want to thank Jamie and Pat for what they do. Putting on this series, a lot of fun. They run, I think, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tomorrow night will be the truck series. Broadcasted on NASA. Old Jacob Reeves get in there and be calling that one. And that'll be a lot of fun. But congratulations to the whole field. But Brandon Evans takes home another victory. And yeah, gonna be tough to beat him. We'll see if anybody can do it next week. See y'all later.